Yeah.
We all know and love Sharon Lobel. She is amazing. I met her first joining the Board of Governors and seeing the magic she does with or creates with our gala and late night lounge. Again, it always involves a village, but she has been the mastermind at the helm, so I already know she's an incredible organizer. She has logged in from points all over the world for our board meetings, which means nobody gets any slack for not being able to show up. um, so, a little more about Sharon besides those things that were my firsthand experience. Sharon's an international award winning photographer. She's a nationally accredited master photographer and photographic craftsman. And we know that she specializes in nature, landscape, wildlife, surf, and underwater photography. She's a big scuba diver. Awards include International Silver and Bronze Photographer of the Year, Animal and Landscape Photographer of the Year. She was also honored by receiving the prestigious Evans Kingham Award for her outstanding service to the photographic community. There's an ongoing theme there with service. Sharon currently serves as an ASP governor and has for the past 4 years. She's our ASP Gala and Late Night Lounge chair and Service Award liaison, another big job. She served as president of the Professional Photographers of Los Angeles County and secretary for the Professional Photographers of California. She's led numerous photo safaris. Some of our previous attendees have joined us today through Africa, Alaska, Antarctica, Iceland, and the continental United States. She is co owner of Photography Adventures Tours, luxury photography tours. Pretty fabulous.
Oh,
She is an advanced open water scuba diver with over 100 dives in California, the Caribbean. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. Timor Leste?
Timor-Leste.
Timor Leste. Hawaii, Indonesia, Malaysia, Borneo, Mexico, and the Philippines.
Yep.
And other adventures include wilderness backpacking, having completed 150 miles on the Pacific Coast Trail, Pacific Crest Trail. Did I get that right? You got to help me.
Yep,
Crest.
you did.
I'm on the east
Pacific Crest
side.
Trail. On my side, Malibu Barbie time.
And 250 miles on the Appalachian Trail through the Smoky Mountains. She continues to section hike both trails in her spare time. She grew up on a dairy farm in rural East Texas, and in addition to farming, she enjoyed deer hunting and once had to shoot a wolf to protect the family's cattle. She's an avid horse rider, including barrel racing and local rodeos. Once, after barrel racing, she was selected to be the rodeo queen, and this got her involved in the very competitive Texas pageants, where she was runner up for Miss Texas. Modeling led her to Hollywood, where she was a working TV and movie actress. Performing in front of the camera helped her become a better photographer. Later, Sharon began an office and home leather goods import business with numerous trips to China. Let me let Angela in. Sharon enjoys boating and navigating a powerboat from Marina del Rey, California to someplace in Mexico.
Zihuatanejo. Zihuatanejo.
She's also sailed Catalina Island and the British Virgin Islands. Sharon makes her home in a very unique off the grid cabin on 40 acres in the remote Sierra Nevada mountains where she enjoys snow skiing and snowshoeing. Sharon, you have lived so many lives. It's amazing. And we are very excited and we were very proud of you. And we want to hear all about this latest accomplishment. I know you were hesitant and a little embarrassed when I called and asked. Thank you for agreeing to share this with us today.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me. All right, so help me walk through how I do this. So
You can go to the bottom and it says share screen.
share screen. I share. Everybody.
You got it. And then
Let's see. Your screen. I go here. Let's see. You'd think by now I'd learn how to do this, but still.
perfect.
And let me make sure the audio is Share sound. Okay. Is that it? You don't see my little bar at the bottom, do you?
Nope.
Oh,
We see the
perfect.
big page.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm super excited to get to share this part of my life because it is brand new and it's something that I really didn't know existed until about 4 years ago. And I didn't even know that there was any club in this world that didn't allow women. And so when I first heard about it, I was only invited when it was women's night. So all the men would come to the club and they would meet once a week. And the only way that a woman came in there was if you were invited. And I'll show you a little clip in a minute, but I remember the first time I was there, it was an accident. And I went with Bob, my partner, and they're like, oh, women can't be here. It's not women's night. So I go get in the car and I go stay somewhere for a couple of hours. And I'm in the car just working and writing. And there's a Jack in the Box on the corner. And so I just sat down there and it was kind of funny. It was comical that it was a mistake made by Bob and he thought I could just go, but I couldn't. So they were very, very strict. So I'm very honored and I'm wearing my button tonight. So you can see I am an official member of the Adventures Club and my number is member number 1247. So, and there were only 5 women that I got actually inducted, the very first 5 women, which happened in February. So I'll just take you through the screen. So the Adventures Club of Los Angeles, it's a private club. And the only way that you can become a member is to get invited, fill out an application. It's a long application, and they're wanting to know where you've been off the beaten path, what you've done where you stand out among other people. And this started back in, I believe it was like 1908. Teddy Roosevelt and some of his guys back in New York had a little meeting and they decided, hey, let's put a club together. Well, it was a man's club then, and it was still a men's club until this year. So you can see this is their slogan, the Adventures Club of Los Angeles. It's a gathering place for those who travel off the beaten path in search of adventure. And of course, I feel adventure is my first name. So when I first started to come, I remember going to, you see all the buttons? There's a board when you walk up the stairs. And I mean, this building is so obsolete. You would not even know it's there. I wished I'd have taken a photo from the outside of the building. It's just a wall with a iron door that slides across. But when you open that door, it is the stairway to adventure. So you go up this old wooden stairway and the building opens up and there's a greeter and you meet, and then here's this wall of everybody's button. And this was Buzz Aldrin's button. So it took me back and I'm like, oh my gosh, Buzz Aldrin was a member. Buddy from the Beverly Hillbillies, Buddy Epson, is it Buddy Epson, I believe was his last name? And then you see Cecil B. DeMille. You start seeing all these names, all these famous men from 102 years back. And it's just amazing. And these are some of the members that are just in Los Angeles. So not even including other areas where the Adventures Club is. So this is the inside of the building where we go in there and we hear the speakers, and this is where they do the presentations. So I know you're probably wondering what this picture is on the far left. Well, this is actual mummified human head of a pygmy head that one of the guys had found when he was off the beaten path somewhere in like Papua New Guinea or somewhere. And he was able to bring this back. It's been in the club there, and it's by the tiki bar in the club, and it's in glass. It's all encased in glass. So this just gives you a little insight to what the club actually looks like. And all of the flags are from around the world. And if you're doing a really, really exquisite off the beaten path, you can take one of the Los Angeles Adventures Club flags and have it signed by everybody. So I don't know how many of you have watched Out of Africa. I hope all of you have watched Out of Africa from some point in your life. And if you haven't, I insist you watch it. And you too, Mel, I'm still after you about watching that movie. So this is sort of like how I felt. This is a clip from Out of Africa. And this is sort of like how I felt the first time I went into this men's club. So I hope you can hear it okay. And not, I'll tell you what he says afterwards.
Stay. Excuse me. I'm looking for Baron Blixen.
Rajiv.
Yes. I wondered if you might tell me where I would
not be here.
Well, I'm simply looking for someone.
Not be here.
So if you didn't understand what she said was that when Raji, she comes in and she's looking for Baron Blixen. And so when Raji gets called to attend to her, he says, Madame, women must not be here. Women must not be here. So this went so far back that the women were not allowed in these men's clubs, and especially an adventurer club. So this was in Africa and outside of Nairobi. And this was a club that only the men could attend. So when Karen Blixen went into this club, she just ignored all the men and walked in. And that's sort of like how I felt. I felt like Karen Blixen the first time I was here too. So it was real funny. So here we are. This is the night of getting inducted into the Adventures Club. And these are myself and the other 4 women. And they're all amazing because one is, she studies volcanoes. The other one was in a circus and she's a beekeeper. Then, what's her name? Adrian, she is a JPL. She works at Jet Propulsion Lab and she builds all kinds of stuff. She's just a brain scientist herself. And then the other lady, Barbara, she has sailed yachts all over the world and done solo yachting by herself. So we all have a lot in common. And LA Times just did an article on the 5 of us, and they interviewed us, and they printed an article on March 6th newspaper to the LA Times. So if you haven't seen it, maybe you can go back to the archives and read it. But it was really cool. And it was my statement that night was just how powerful it was. I just thought it was just so much power to have these 5 women in this room to actually make history. And there's my certificate from February the 5th. And there I was signing the book. They wanted all the women to sign the book because these are from all the speakers and everyone that have been to the Adventures Club. So every day is an adventure where I live. So this is where I live. So I know a lot of you ask about how I get in and how long I've been home. So when we came home, this is a little bit of how much snow we had and snow down in the valley. And I feel like my life is an adventure every morning I wake up. But if it wasn't for Big Red, this is what we call our Big Red, we would not be able to get home. So I haven't learned to drive this yet, but I do ride shotgun standing on the outside of the cab because it only has 1 seat. So my plan every time I ride on the outside of this thing is what's my jump off point. So if you ever hear I've broken an arm or a leg, you'll know why, because I've jumped off of this thing trying just to get up to our house. So it's kind of fun, but it's always beautiful here. So this is my back door, and I do have a lot of adventures here. I don't necessarily have to travel somewhere away, some other place in the country. But I do want to share some of the reasons and how I qualified to be selected as a member of the Adventures Club. And of course, a lot of my adventures were the main reason that I was selected and did qualify, because I have gone off the beaten path quite a bit. And I think, as Eileen read in my bio there, I was raised on a dairy farm. So my whole life has been sort of adventurous, kind of, not letting any moss grow underneath my feet. I just keep rolling along, and I just always kind of look for the next thing to do. And it's become my life, and I'm fortunate to have did I mute? There we go. And so I'm kind of fortunate enough here that I've got to go on a bunch of adventures, and some of them are local. And I think, John Gruss, I think you took that photo with that bottom right image of the petroglyphs up in Bishop. So some of these are local, and the one in the middle was Alaska. I was climbing through a cave tunnel, and that thing could have gone and collapsed any minute, but you don't think about it when you're out adventuring. So just going off the beaten path is, it's fun, but you also have to be careful. And I looked up the word adventurous, and adventurous means danger. So I think I'm kind of a dangerous, kind of not necessarily a rebel, but I have been known to break a few rules. But I think that's just what gets you there, and not harming anyone or anything. So I just find it a lot of fun. So I have hiked 151 miles. I verified that. I wrote 150 on my thing, but I was 151 miles on the Pacific Coast Trail. And this was quite a feat. And you see mile 0, you're at the Mexico border, and you're walking, and you're just like, wow, there's nobody around. And you've got to fend for yourself. You've got to make your bed. You've got to boil your water. You've got to somehow not stink too bad, after day 4 or 5. And you just keep going. You just keep rolling. And 250 miles on the Appalachian Trail. So this is night after night after night. And it took us, Bob and I did this together, and it was 30 days on the Appalachian Trail. We started in Atlanta, got all the way through the Smoky Mountains, and then we're up above Standing Bear, which is north of Gatlinburg. So that's where we left off, and we're hoping to pick that back up this October. So North Sumatra was one of my off the beaten paths. I loved it there. I love trekking. I really like, in the jungle, even though you have to be careful. There are leeches that will, kind of stick to your socks and then get underneath your socks, and there's big bugs and all that kind of stuff. But you just have to ignore it, because you have a mindset that you want to get to a certain place, and you want to see the orangutans, and this is you just ignore all the stuff around you. And that's what I kind of tell everybody when they're like, oh, I want to travel with you here, and I'm like, I don't think you would like this place. I don't think that you could actually stay in this little hut there, where the shower is a spigot coming out of the wall with cold water, and the toilet is an open toilet that you kind of got to squat. So some of those off the beaten path things, I won't let anybody go, because I just don't think that they could handle it. So this is more of the orangutans, and this was in Kinabatangan. This was out in Borneo. This was just in November. And the middle photo, you can see he's got our luggage. I had my camera bag and one bag is what Bob and I traveled in. And this is where we stayed. This is one of those. And we lived with a family in the jungle. And this is how we got there. From the road, we got into this boat, got on the river, and you can see how muddy and dark it is and all. That's the way it was all the time. And this was the outdoor toilet here on the river, and it just went into the river. So it was real funny. He goes, "Oh, we have 2 bathrooms." And I go, "Oh, great. They have 2 bathrooms because there's 8 people that live in this house. And now Bob and I are coming to this house. That means there's 10 people sharing 1 bathroom." Well, come to find out, the bathroom in the house, it had a Western seat, a Western toilet seat, but again, you had to self-flush it. And this toilet had a great view of the water in the river, but it just went right off the river. So it was kind of fun. It was like, I think I'll just stay in the house and try this. But of course, Bob, being the person he is, he had to go to this bathroom outside just because he said, "I have to do it. I have to go to this bathroom." So it was fun. So you guys all know I love diving. Diving is like one of my biggest passions. So this was from a liveaboard off Komodo Island in Indonesia. And this is a trip that we're doing again in November, but we'll be going to Raja Ampat. And it has like just 5 staterooms, and there's only 10 people on here. And we just had a great time venturing around. And I really got interested in, I don't know if anybody's familiar with what nudibranchs are. The nudibranchs are really tiny, small species of fish. And I'll show you some photos in just a second. And this is outside of Borneo, Malaysia. This was Mabul and Siamil. And you can see how they live. And this was our dive boat at the bottom that we went out 3 times a day. We dove 3 times. And then this was an old oil derrick that they turned into a hotel. That was pretty cool. We did a dive underneath that one day. So this is some of the most beautiful underwater. I love it in Indonesia. It's just, it will be hard for me to dive the Caribbean ever again after diving here so much. And the photo on the right is a glass shrimp, and you can just see right through it, and you can just see his whole body working also. And the photo on the left is a seahorse. It's a pygmy seahorse. You can see the curvature. Can you see the eye, the little black dot of the eye? And it's attached to fan coral that has taken on the shape of the pygmy. The pygmy's taken on the shape of the fan coral so that it's disguised. And there's a lot of little eggs and everything around. And then this is a peacock nudibranch on the right. And these were all shot in Malaysia and Borneo. So it's just a new hobby I picked up while I was diving, and just have fallen in love with it. So one of my best adventures this year was getting to free dive with the blue whales. So this adventure was just beyond my wildest dreams. And they were, this photo I took, they were probably about 15 feet below me. And so this how you get there is you go out in a boat during the day, and you're out on that boat all day. You leave early that morning, you have lunch on the boat, and you're free diving. So you just have a mask, a snorkel and fins, and your suit on. And the water is like 85 degrees. So just a skin and your swimsuit, that's all you need. And you watch where the whales are coming. You look for the blowholes. And we saw pods of anywhere from 8 to 12 pods of these huge blue whales. They were just magnificent. And you get in front, the guy puts the boat in front, you see them breaching, and you count the breaching, and then you're like, okay, everybody in the water. And there's only 5 people at a time that go in the water. So 5 of us slide down off the side of the boat, get in the water, and you just face down. And I just have my camera face down, and just there it is. They come right underneath you. And I happened to catch the mom and the baby right underneath. The baby was real shy. They wouldn't come up, but every once in a while they'll kind of turn to the side and they'll look at you, but they won't harm you. So it's nothing. And this,
Sharon,
Yes.
can you hear them do whale song and stuff when they're going by?
Yes, here, I'm going to turn up the volume, turn up your volume on this. So this is a sperm whale. This was another day, and I did a video of these, and you can hear them. Did you hear them? Barely. But this was like my heart was beating 90 miles an hour. And when I came up from seeing this mother and baby, I was just crying. I was bawling. And everybody's like, "Are you hurt? Are you hurt?" You know, they thought I was hurt. And I'm like, "No." I said, that is the closest I can get to nature that I ever can imagine. I was just so emotional after seeing the blue whales that it just took me by surprise. I really didn't realize that would be something that, you know, I thought sitting in a Jeep in Africa and a lion walking next to you was one of those other aha moments where you kind of cry and things happen too. You get emotional, but this was like beyond. So I wanted to share. I hope you don't mind me sharing these things with you, because I didn't know what else to do. So I'll show it to you one more time. It might
That's
not have picked up,
amazing.
but it was there. I heard it. Oh,
That's just amazing.
uh-oh. I'm sorry. I popped out of my slideshow. Hold on. I will go quick here. Sorry.
You're fine.
I know, it's like I told Eileen, I said, this feels like it's all about me. And and it is, but I didn't know what else
But
to take you through.
Sharon, you're showing us places we'll never get to. So we're getting to live vicariously through you. So do not feel self-conscious. We're enjoying this.
Yeah, Sharon, this is awesome. I mean, amazing. I can't even believe that we know you. This is so great.
I was like, oh, but anyway, I there's so many places. I mean, I know I text you guys, I talk to you, we have meetings, and you ask me where I'm at and what I'm doing and all. But it's so many times I'm just like, oh, I wish you were here. I wish you could be here, you know. And these are just, you know, this is what it takes. You know, when I filled out my application, and I know Mel and John Gruz are on here, and they were two of my references, that people that I had to have references that had known me for 5 years and more, who had traveled with me, who knew what kind. So evidently they wrote really good things about me, because it didn't persuade them, because in my interview, I had to have an interview with 5 of the senior board members. And during that moment, they said, you're more qualified than more people in this club already that have been in this club for 40 years. So I'm like, oh, I felt really honored. I really did. I just felt so honored. So these are just some places, you know, Alaska, and out in the desert, in Death Valley, and home. And of course, Christy and Mel can relate to Falkland Islands, to Antarctica, and, you know, solar eclipse. And it was so funny. We're in Penang, Malaysia, and we find the Asian Camera Museum, and we spent a whole afternoon in there. I mean, it was so wonderful that, you know, I'm fortunate that I have a partner who likes to travel and is as interested in things as I am. And so we spent a whole afternoon in there that day, you know, going through the museum and seeing all these cameras from stuff I'd never seen in my entire life. And then, of course, this is in Kota Kinabalu in the far right. I'm dressed like a Muslim attire, because I'm going into the mosque, and you can't go in anything but their attire. So it cost $2. I had to rent the attire. And of course, you know, I chose purple. That's my favorite color. And so I was dressed and ready to go into the mosque. And again, what an experience that was. You know, it was just something that, you know, I'm there and I have to do it. So, and of course, Alaska's home. It has a nice soft spot in my heart. My oldest brother lives there, and I love traveling up there. And actually, John Grusz took this trip. He and I took this trip together, and we went up to photograph the grizzly bears. And it's another one of those hair-raising experiences. And I know Christy has photographed the grizzlies also. And we flew over in this airplane, and we landed right on the beach, and you know, the grizzly is right there behind you, and it walked right by us with a cub, and they don't want you. They want the clams that they're sniffing and smelling. So it was just another one of those aha moments that was, again, off the beaten path there. So I know most of you know that I travel to Africa every year, and Africa, there's no place that touches my heart probably more that I have there's one other place in Uganda that's almost as close as that, but of course that's in Africa too, but another country in Africa. But I'm just overwhelmed by how much beauty and the people and how great they are to be with you and see you and just to touch you. And, you know, in Uganda this last year, we were probably the only non-African people that they'd ever seen in their life. These kids, and you know, a lot of them had never seen a white person, and they want to touch you, they want to feel your hair, they want to hear you talk, and they invite us to the school, and we went to the church and all that, and it was just amazing. And this lady here on the right that I have a photo taken with her, I asked her, could I take a photo with her? And she said yes. But I couldn't understand her because she was speaking in, she's a Maasai. And so the guy was interpreting for me, and I showed her the photo afterwards, and she looked up at the guy and said something. And I said, what did she say? And she said, we have the same color eyes. She was flabbergasted that our eyes were almost the same colors, you know, that light hazel color. And she was just so excited that, you know, I had stopped by and chatted with her and sat down and, you know, of course, with an interpreter, but it was fun. It was fun. This is one of those spots where you're sitting in a Jeep, you're out in the Mara, and you see this dust cloud coming from way away, but you don't really know what it is because you're looking at this gorgeous mountain in the background. And that's Mount Kilimanjaro, because we're on the border of Tanzania and Kenya. And so I'm watching and watching, and then all of a sudden you start to hear something.
It's like music.
Exactly. This guy comes probably 15 miles a day, and it could be more, to a water hole to bring his herd of cattle. And this is all this man has, is this herd of cattle. So he's very protective with his herd, with his cattle. And it is, again, it's there in that aha moment. And you wish you could just stay. You don't want to leave, you know, but there's so much other stuff going on. But I found that was just a really exciting place for me to go. So anyway, here's my new slogan of life. Every photograph has a story. Every photograph tells a story. Every photograph was an adventure. So adventure awaits. So I hope everybody's inspired a little bit to go adventure. And if you can adventure with me, go adventure with anyone. Adventure, just adventure, and enjoy life. Life's too short. And I just keep saying, I keep cramming in as much as I can. And so I hope you all enjoy that.
So tell me, I know you can't really pick a favorite, but
Oh,
what
geez.
was maybe the most exotic or unique place you've been so far?
Here, let me close this off, Eileen. Okay, I'm probably gonna go back to, I would probably have to say Uganda. Uganda really, really was amazing. And the reason I say that is because we got to spend time, an entire week, with a priest in the diocese there in outside of Entebbe, Kabale, in Kabale, Uganda. And to see what they do firsthand, and to see where the people depend on the church so much. They accepted us. We went to a wedding. We were invited to a wedding. We could have seen a birth, but we opted out of it because there was no medicine, no drugs, and I couldn't do it. I was just like, no, I just, that needs to be private, and I just didn't want to do it. So once you've had kids, you just like, that's it. Okay, I don't want to experience that from somebody else, because I would have been over there holding hands and trying to birth the baby, So, so anyway, I have to say that, and being with the children that are the special needs, that country is in so much poverty. There is hardly any natural forest at all. It has all been cut down, and it's all tea leaves have been planted. The only places that there are any, if at all, any of the natural forest is for the it's for the silverbacks. And we actually tracked 2 times with the silverbacks, and that's another on the list for this year, to go back to Uganda for that. But being with that priest and seeing what he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis was simply unforgettable. And it really was an experience, really, really off the beaten path, and to spend time with the children in the schools, and to see how excited they were to see a person that they had never seen before. And then to spend time with the handicapped children and weave with them. And it's just like you're in no hurry. You just forget there's another part of the world, and you appreciate what you have when you get back home.
Yeah.
You really go, wow.
Can you go ahead and stop sharing your screen real quick? I'm sorry.
Yep. Stop share. Sorry. There we go.
No, and then keep on. I hated to interrupt you.
It's okay. It's all right. So, it's all those places there, every place, just like I said in my little phrase, with every photograph, there's a story. With every stop, every experience that I've had, there's something that has touched my heart, whether if it's somebody on a trip with me, like Carol or Linda or John or Christy or anyone. Every one of those people have touched my heart, and they're memories that I can't change, I can't take back, and they're just embedded. And I'm so happy that they come with me, they trust me, they know I know where I'm going and what to do. I've never put anybody in danger, but yet, there's the wild side of me that I'll break a rule for us to go photograph that pygmy or something. I'm like, okay, we're going. Let's go. Don't tell anybody. Put your cameras under your coat. Let's go. But anyway, it's hard to pick one, Eileen. It really is. It's hard just to pick one. Yeah.
Sharon, I want to hear more about the lion right beside your Jeep. Please tell that story.
Yeah, there's been several of those, but probably I'd probably say the closest to we had a leopard. The closest to the leopard jumping in the Jeep was in South Africa, and it was in Namibia, and it was north of Windhoek. We were in a place called Okanjima, I believe that was where it was, and on a private reserve. So we have been watching these two leopards mate. And I mean, they were mating and mating and mating because there's only like 3 days that they have a window of mating. So they're just one right after another. He gets off, he takes a breath for 10 minutes, and then she starts nudging him again, okay, go again, go again. So we thought, it's comical in a way because we're in the Jeep going, okay, I need a cigarette, I need a drink. How many people shot that with their video porn, so we're laughing and kind of carrying on, and they're just ignoring us. But that female leopard gave us an eye once, and it was like, okay, we've been watching them for 30 minutes, it's time we move on. So we took the Jeep, went down, stopped because we saw them get up and they start walking towards us. And so Yandere puts the Jeep in, he gets it in position for us to get the shots of them coming right after us. And we have an open top Jeep, no top on the Jeep at all. And so this bull leopard, he has the biggest bull head, and he starts walking right towards the open side of the Jeep. And Bob is on the left side of me. And I'm like, nobody move. Don't even think about picking up your camera. Don't move. I said, he is going to jump in the Jeep. And all I could think of, and visually seeing him jump in Bob's lap with his big claws and just like, latch right down into his legs. He came within inches of the Jeep, looks up at us with these gorgeous blue eyes. And of course, we all wanted to just start click, 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 click. But we froze. We were literally frozen in that Jeep. And he looks at us and we see him turn. He goes around to the right side on my side, lifts his leg and pees on the tire. All going, oh my gosh. And then we all pull out our cameras and start photographing him, and shooting him. But that's probably the closest that I've ever been really worried about, something jumping in the Jeep, where we had no control over it. I mean, we've been charged by rhinos and elephants and things like that, but we're able to, gun the Jeep and get away, but that's probably the closest.
JP, now's your chance to ask your question. You had a question.
It's a bunch of chat, but I'm sorry I can't look at it. I don't know. You guys ask me whatever.
Hi, thanks, Christy. Sharon, this is the other John.
Thank you.
What is on your list of someplace adventurous that you have not been to that you're looking to go to?
Oh, I got my ticket already booked. So I get to complete my last continent, which is Australia, of all places. So I am going there in November. And then from there, we're going back to dive with the whales. And then a week in Bali on an island outside of Bali called Gili Gede. And then from there, the next stop will be Raja Ampat, which I haven't been. It'll be a 10-day dive trip again. And then only Bob and I are going to Papua New Guinea. And we are going out into the villages of Papua New Guinea. And we're going to rough it. We're going to live with the village people for about 5 days. Yeah. So I'm excited, but a little nervous about that place, but because they still behead people, they kill, we could be boiling soup for dinner one night. So I'm a little nervous about that one. So, but hopefully it'll be fun. But that's on my bucket list. That's where I will be in January. I'll be there in January. Yeah.
Thank you.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You'll be there.
And who knows, hey, they give an award also at the Adventurers Club for the Adventure of the Year. So let's see if I get the first women to get the Adventure of the Year award.
Well, let us know
I'm
if we
after
can,
that trophy.
let us know if we can send in some video testimony for you for
Yes.
that. We'll all make a video. You're wild, Sharon. I love it. And your list of your adventures coming up for the whole year is incredible. All the photo tours that you're offering. What are the places
Yep.
you're going to on that?
We're
The
going to
next,
share that, right? Can you share
pardon?
that with us?
Yeah. Of course. I see this right now, David, my business partner, he's in Vietnam and Cambodia. So he's there now. And then and I didn't go because I knew I was going to do this video. I thought it was more important. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
You got me.
So I just, this was more important than to go to Vietnam. So, but no, he's there now with a group. I was grounded because I had a floater taken out of my left eye. So I was kind of air grounded. So I couldn't go yet. And so then I'm trying to think. May, Yellowstone. Oh my gosh, if you've never been to Yellowstone with us, it's a full day of shooting from sunrise to sunset. And that happens in May, the end of May, right before all the tons of tourists come. And, still possibility of some snow and bison, there's all kinds of wildlife there in Yellowstone. So that's our next trip in May. And love to have you come with me. Love to have you. And then we get a rest for June. And then July, Doug and Laura Bennett. I don't know if you know Doug and Laura Bennett, but they're also ASP members and they're international award winners. And Laura is a gold USA team. I think she won the gold last year. And so they are joining us for landscape and droning in Namibia. So this will be my second trip to Namibia, and they'll be teaching, you can't drone everywhere, but where we can, we will be. And there's a lot of places still that are not, that you can. So that's next in July. Then from July, then I head straight over to Nairobi and I do an all women's safari. And I know Mel, John, Carol, Linda have gone on some of those trips there and it's quite the treat in Amboseli and West Savo, and then into the Mara. We take a private plane, we fly into the Mara. So I've got a women's trip, all women, no men, sorry. So only our guide, still have my same guides, and that's going to be a fun trip. And then we piggyback to Uganda onto that. So it's either a start or an end of Uganda. Either way you want to, either want to come in and start that, and we're going to trek the silverbacks for 2 days. And then we do our normal safari, men allowed. And and then we have that. So we'll do 5 different national parks, and then we repeat that again and have another. Then that ends my year with photography adventure tours, and then I start my own adventure back up in November when we head to Australia. So I finish out my year then.
Wow.
And I still have time to decorate for the American Society of Photographers Gala in February in Texas.
That's the most important adventure.
Yeah. Don't get your head chopped off. We'll need you.
Oh my gosh, Eileen. Sharon, do not get your head chopped off.
So give us your website.
Oh gosh, I need to update it. Anybody want to help me update my website? It's easy. It's SharonLobelPhotography.com, and then that's my personal website. I can add you to my constant contact list if you email me at shutterbugsharon@aol.com. I can add you on my constant contact because I'm always sending out stuff to everybody, what's going on. And then photography adventure tours sharonlobel.com is our work website. Yep. There's always something happening, right?
It's amazing.
But it's fun. You know, I have to keep doing it while I can, because I know there's going to be one day I can't. And I guess everybody that knows me, I don't say no very often, and I don't say can't very often until I just can't. And so I only have one life to live, and I guess, you know, they'll just put Rolling Stone on my tombstone. I don't know what they'll
Well, I have a feeling you're going to win Adventure of the Year this
Yeah.
coming year. I cannot imagine anybody else matching your itinerary.
Oh, I don't know. They got some pretty impressive people in that club, let me tell you. And there's, I think the men, it stepped their game up a little bit. I think they're a little more aggressive now, because I've had to talk to a couple of them since us women got in there, and I think it upped their game a little bit. So we'll see. We're giving them a run for their money.
That is funny. Real quick, y'all, we're talking before we started about the birds, and Lisa Hill is logged in, and she is a serious birding girl.
Yes.
Where was it that you were, Carol? And I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Carol and Linda were on my last Africa trip with me, and we were in Samburu. And well, wherever we went to 7 national parks, and every park had just amazing and gorgeous birds everywhere. And Carol has photographed, I mean, not necessarily seen, we've seen more, but she photographed 180 different species in 2 weeks where we were in Kenya.
Yeah, the guides would be focused after I had my giraffe pictures with the oxpeckers on them and everything. I'd usually turn around and check all the foliage on the other side. I know Martin and Jolly Boy had a kick out of it, because I found all sorts of things on the other side of the Land Cruiser. And
Yes.
so it would like double what we would see, because I'd always look all the way around. But that tour is just awesome, because even though, I mean, you're out there all day basically, and
yeah.
so many hours, and it was just amazing, the bird life that was there. You don't hear that much about Samburu, but oh my God, going back over the film from that, you know, the cards from that, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a great time. I know I did.
It was outstanding, and I can't imagine a better trip, actually. And before we left Nairobi, just going to the Karen Blixen's house, you know, there were birds. There were birds at the hotel, and so I mean, it was outstanding from start to finish.
Yeah, 18 life birds out at the hotel, just eating out on the terrace. I was going bananas.
I know. I'd wake up every morning. I'd go down and see Carol and Linda. They were usually there before me, and I thought I got up early before everybody. And Carol and Linda both. Carol has already been down there for an hour and already shot like 20 different species of birds, just and not even had breakfast yet. So.
And always eat. That takes
exactly.
You can always eat later.
That's right.
Just
That's why we had so much food. We had enough food that we could have just done without eating a day or two. Let me tell you, yeah.
Yeah, if any of you have an opportunity to go on one of Sharon's Africa trips, don't wait. Do it now, and you can always do it again. But yeah, but do it now. It's outstanding. Like I say,
well, we felt so well cared for. It was just from start to finish.
And you're definitely not roughing it at all.
No.
No. So the tent, you might be staying in a tent, but these are tents with all the amenities.
And no backpack tent.
Yeah, not like my little outing in Sumatra at all.
Right.
That's
Promise is a
fantastic.
Western toilet in every place.
Yeah, it was, I mean, they deliver your coffee to your tent at say 5:30 in the morning, because I mean, you're gonna get up early. You want to be done with breakfast and in the Land Cruiser so that you're out for sunrise. And so you're up early. But it's nice to have coffee delivered to your tent so that you have a cup of ambition, to get you started.
It was it was really ingenious though. They had little ladder outside the tent with a little opening, and they slid the coffee in. It just amazing.
It's our wake-up call.
It's our way. Right.
Does anyone have any other questions? Awesome. Well, I love hearing that testimonial from you ladies. That's fun.
Thank you.
And what the experience is like traveling with Sharon. Like I said, these are not your average tours that she does. And I'm so proud of you. And it's exciting that you actually are literally in the history books.
Yes.
For this event, joining the Adventurers Club of, is it California or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, yes.
Los Angeles.
Adventurers Club of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Very, very exciting. Thank you for letting me twist your arm and for sharing with us all about it today. I really appreciate it. And I think everybody we've all been living vicariously through you. It's really exciting. And like she said, if you want to do something, do it now. If not now, when? So on that note, I want to remind everyone that our mentor program is open for signups, either to be a mentor or mentee. Be sure to do that. You can do that on the website. And our judging for IOD is March 22nd. And then the critique reviews are going to be March 23rd. That will be at printcompetition.com. And round 2 is going to be in August. Is that correct, Lori?
Yes,
Christy,
sorry.
perfect.
It's August 18th.
That is so exciting. And next week for our Zoom, we have James Corbett, and he is going to, I just went totally blank on what his program is about. I cannot believe that. But I think it's already on the website. So go take a look at asmp.com. We always have exciting things going on up there. Terry Butler is going to do the program the week after that. Miss Terry is here. She's hiding behind her headshot. And it will be another one of those amazing Photoshop programs on Firefly.
Eileen?
Yes.
Is that James the same one that was on the Georgia trip?
Yes,
His,
it is.
his program is
Speaking of travel
Iceland
photography.
and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Iceland.
travel photography.
It will be travel photography, and he's going to focus on during what people normally think is the wrong time of the day and how to create incredible images throughout that trip and not just isolated moments. Thank you, Marissa and John. I just went blank.
Okay, girl.
And then Terry will be after that with Firefly, and it's going to be a lot of information jam-packed into that program as well. Did you want to share anything about it since I put you on the spot?
No, I'm just gonna show you what the new Adobe Firefly will do, and show you how to prompt the tool and how to do some backgrounds that you could use with your client images. And I got a whole bunch of good stuff for you as usual.
Awesome. So thank you guys for joining us, and for several of you here have done programs for us before. And I want to thank you for that, because ASP Zoom programming is all about the people who are willing to share. We wouldn't have it without you guys, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully I will see you again next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Sharon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Terry, I'm going to call you Boots.
Sharon, I'll send you the chat. She's gone. Bye-bye.